Greetings, YouTube. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for clicking on this video. I've talked a lot on my channel, and other channels certainly have done the same thing, about the frustration with the new Alliance War map. Thankfully, Kabam has heard the feedback and tweaked some of the nodes, some of the credit card nodes, as I call them, to not make them as difficult, but the damage has been done, and I've heard from quite a few people whose alliances have crumbled, who have been together for years, but between the Alliance War changes and 6.2, this is the breaking point because so many people aren't having fun. So many people are sick and tired of the BS, to be blunt. And so they're just they're choosing not to do the game, or they're choosing not to do Alliance War. And because so many alliances are not choosing to do Alliance War, you have this unique issue, which may be on Kabam and may not be on Kabam. I can't say for certain. But it's that matchmaking, if you have less alliances to match with, you're going to have some really unfair, imbalanced matchups. And I received this message from a summoner in a Gold 1 alliance who got matched up against an alliance that was just way, way more powerful than them. Instantly, with the matchup, it wasn't even close. Kind of a common story, unfortunately, a common narrative, if you will. And so he filed a help ticket and wanted Kabam to know that the matchmaking system really did not help his alliance find a fair match. And so the response is what you see in front of you. And it says, "Greetings, Summoner. Thank you for contacting Kabam support about being matched by an alliance that is two-way above your alliance rating. I do apologize for the inconvenience you have experienced with our Alliance War matchmaking. Thus, the matchmaking mechanics is quite straightforward for now. When your alliance initiate a matchmaking, the system will look for a rival alliance looking for war with the closest rating to yours." Basically, it just goes on and explains what matchmaking is, which obviously this summoner, Gold 1 Alliance, been playing for years. He knows what the system is. And so when it says, this means that at the time your alliance looked for war, there is no rival alliance going to war that is near your rating. Nowadays, only the strongest and veteran alliance engage in wars, while the humble alliances engage in quests until sometime they are confident enough to make do in wars. And that sentence is elitist douchebaggery of a new level, because it actually angered this alliance and it angered the summoner, and rightfully so, because basically it's just saying, hey, if you do Alliance War, you got to be the best. And if you're not the best, you better spend money and rank up your champions and be the best, because if you get a bad matchup, it's not our fault, it's your fault for having an alliance that's too weak, which is a really elitist, rude, and senseless thing to tell somebody who has spent years loyal to your game. And so he wanted this message to be shown in a video to kind of display not only how out of touch Kabam is with the matchmaking issues, but just the arrogance that can come across by their support staff. And you see at the beginning, it starts out, "Greetings, Summoner. Thank you for contacting Kabam." That's a nice way to start a message, right? Like, you're thanking them for taking time out. Like, that's a good customer service move. But by the end of the message, if you're saying that only the strongest and veteran alliances engage in wars nowadays, while the humble alliances engage in quests until sometime they are confident enough to make do in wars. Like, make do? What is this, like survival? Alliance Wars, because I've never been a fan of Alliance Wars. I thought in general that it would ruin the game, and some people think that that's an exaggeration or I'm being too harsh, but I think in large part Alliance War Seasons has ruined the game, and it continues to ruin the game. And I cannot tell you how happy I am in an alliance that right now does not do any war and just does Map 5 Alliance quests and has fun. Like, I am having more fun playing this game than I ever have before, and it's because I don't even remember that war exists. And the rewards, especially since they haven't changed at all, of course, like the loss of those rewards, I forget about too. Like, if I really want tier 5 basic fragments, I'll just hoard some units and take advantage of a now weekly opportunity to get those for units, or, just do without. But regardless, this kind of message is really out of touch and, quite frankly, rude. And I don't know if Kabam watches my channel. I don't even know if they know if I exist. But this kind of wording is terrible for any company. This is another example of really, really poor customer service that should belong in a graduate textbook of what not to do for customer relations. You don't tell somebody who's been loyal to your product for years that the reason why they are contacting you is because they're too weak, right? Like that's rude, and that is going to have the opposite response of someone who is loyal to you wanting to continue to be loyal to you. It just makes sense that that person would be angry and would now have a negative psychological association with your company. So this message was startling and troubling, but sadly not surprising, because we have seen this time and time again from Kabam, a company that is now so big and so powerful and maybe turns such a profit that they just don't care as much, or at least they don't show as much of a care in their day-to-day customer interactions that they did at the beginning, when they knew if they lost their customer base that they would actually maybe lose the game or lose revenue. Now it's just like they're too powerful. So I don't know what to say to end this video other than the fact that this kind of message is troubling to me, and I hope that it's troubling to you, because as a community, we want the game that makes it and the people who run it to not sound like arrogant jerks who make you think, as it says again, that only the strongest and veteran alliances engage in wars, while the humble alliances, I guess I am the humblest of humble alliances, because we just do quests. Apparently, we're not confident. It's not about confidence. It's about intelligence. I feel like we're just too smart to not put ourselves through the rings of Alliance War unless you give us a reason to, which is at least probably tripling the current reward system. But until then, hard pass. Thanks for watching, YouTube. Have a good one.